Oh, the car from Carvana's here. Well, will you look at that? It's exactly what I ordered. Like, precisely. It would be crazy if there were any catches. But there aren't, right?
Right. Because that's how car buying should be. With Carvana, you get the car you want. Choose delivery or pickup, and a week to love it or return it.
Buy your car today with
Carvana. Delivery or pickup fees may apply. Limitations and exclusions may apply. See our 7-day return policy at Carvana.com.
We know what you're thinking. I just want jeans that look great, feel great, and hold up. At Ariat, we've been doing some thinking too. We're thinking about fit that moves with you, no matter where the ride takes you. Durability that stands up to hard work, harder play, and comfort that never quits. And all this thinking, it's really just about more living. Now, it's time to stop thinking and start shopping. Find your Ariat jeans at Ariat.com or a retailer near you.
At Lowe's, this Veterans Day and every day, verified military members, veterans, and their spouses get automatic silver status in My Lowe's Rewards with free standard shipping, plus 10% off eligible purchases with no annual limit. It's one way we honor and give back to those who have served and still do. Learn more now at lowes.com/military. 10% discount can't be combined with another offer. Exclusions, terms, and conditions apply. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
Hey, Trojan family, what's up? Welcome to the USC LAFB show here on the LAFB network. I'm your host, Ryan Dyrud. Thank you, as always, for making this a part of your day. The college football playoff initial rankings were released last night. I'm sure you all saw by now. USC comes in at number 19. So let's break it down. Let's see how we feel about it. Fair ranking, foul ranking, just right. We'll get into all that. First, if you have not already, please hit that like and subscribe button here on the USC LAFB channel. Helps us to continue to grow, helps us keep the content free. Plus, it gives you notified all the time when we are releasing videos, which is quite a bit now. We're really ramping up our video coverage. Still have coverage at LAFBnetwork.com. Would be amazing if you check that out as well. Plus our brand new message board. I'm going to keep saying it. Don't get annoyed with me, but it's free on LAFBnetwork.com. We'll be dropping intel there, especially with recruiting ramping up for the 27 class. Be a lot of nuggets over there on the message board. Just go to LAFBnetwork.com, go to forum in the menu. You'll see the USC Trojans one right there, plus all of our other LA sports content and coverage. You can also become a member right here on the USC channel, or you can become and join a member and join our community at LAFBnetwork.com. A small subscription fee, get some extra perks. Plus, that really helps support us and keep this thing growing. And hey, means the world to me. And join our exclusive LAFB community. So the rankings come out last night. 19th for the Trojans. You can see it here up on your screen that I have. The full top 25, fairly similar to the AP, but some differences there. And I think some fair and good differences overall. So let's just we'll rock through it a little bit here and drop your comments below what you think, any teams you don't like in there, any teams that should be in there, plus just obviously how you feel about USC at 19. So Ohio State 1, Indiana 2, A&M 3. I don't think you can have any argument with those whatsoever. I think Ohio State and Indiana clearly look like the two best teams in football. You could maybe argue that Indiana could be one with how dominant they've looked, but it's really hard to not put Ohio State, the defending champions. They still have looked really good. Julian Sayin gets better and better each week as the young quarterback there. So, that's just more fodder. I think that's fair one too. A&M also, I think that's credible. I would definitely not put A&M above Ohio State or Indiana, but sitting at 3 seems like a good spot for them with some quality wins. Then you get, with A&M, you get 4 straight SEC teams with Bama at 4, Georgia at 5, Ole Miss at 6. I I'm not mad about it. You could argue that Oregon should be above one or two of them. You could argue that Texas Tech could be above. You could argue that BYU could be above. But I don't think it's like egregious by any means putting those four SEC teams, back to back to back. So I think, I'm okay with it. Still some SEC bias, obviously, but it is what it is. It's not egregious. BYU 7, Texas Tech 8, who's had a really nice story, nice season. You can see, not taking anything away from that program, those coaches, but you can see where an infuse and NIL money can certainly make a big difference for a football program. Oregon sitting there at 9. They've played Indiana the closest, so they have a quality loss if we're going quality losses, but they don't have a real quality win yet in their repertoire, if you will. So I think that's probably more why they are behind the likes of like Ole Miss and teams of that nature. When you just look at their overall schedule, looking at it now, you've got Montana State, Oklahoma State, Northwestern, Oregon State, Penn State now, who looks terrible, that took overtime to beat them, Rutgers, Wisconsin. So, they have a pretty weak schedule. So 9 might even still actually be too high if you really want to go that way. But they do have just the 10-point loss to Indiana, albeit it was at home. So maybe Oregon's a little too high. That could be the argument there. Then you get Notre Dame at 10. This is going to be the one throughout the rest of the season that will get everyone talking about, will be the biggest debate back and forth, right? You got Notre Dame 10. You got Miami, who beat Notre Dame, both with 2 losses. Miami's back at 18. Now, the argument, obviously, or at least what I would assume the college football playoff committee is saying, is that Notre Dame's losses are of higher quality than Miami's losses. However, one of those losses is to Miami, who is ranked beneath them. Their other loss is the third-ranked A&M. Miami's other loss is to SMU, who is not ranked, but is not like a terrible program, and is probably just outside when you think about it. That top 25 were in the playoff last year. Notre Dame, to this point, really only one quality win. When you look at USC, is really their one quality win. Outside of SC, they've got Purdue, Arkansas, Boise State, NC State, Boston College. So then when you look at Miami, they have obviously the probably biggest quality win is Notre Dame. Outside of that, not a lot of quality on that schedule. South Florida, Florida State, and then their losses, Louisville and SMU. So I definitely think at this point it is fair to have Notre Dame at 10, Miami down at 18. The only thing I don't agree with is having Notre Dame at 10 essentially tells us that if the season ended today, they believe Notre Dame should be in the playoff, meaning if Notre Dame wins out, they will essentially be in the playoff. And on their schedule remaining, they have one ranked opponent. They got Pitt, who is sitting there at 24. Other than that, a lot of softness in terms of schedule quality. So I think it was premature to put Notre Dame at 10, just because that basically signifies, hey, win out, you're in. Whereas if they were at, say, 15, they would need some help to get in. Whereas the committee did them a favor of saying, like, yeah, we've seen enough from your quality losses and your one quality win that, hey, all you got to do now is win out and you're in. I don't agree with that, but I understand, I guess, the argument to an extent. Texas at 11 is the other one I have a problem with. I talked about this last week, so I won't belabor it too much. But I just think they're the most probably overrated team, and they actually went up. They were, I think, were 13 in the AP and 11 now in the CFP rankings. So I think they're the most overrated team, But it'll self-correct with them. They got to play Georgia still, and they play Texas A&M. So if they win both of those games, then it's deserved. And, they prove that they should be in. If they lose one of those games, they're out. If they lose both, obviously, we clearly know that they were overranked and shouldn't have never been that high. Oklahoma at 12. I think that's okay. Maybe a little high, not terrible. Utah at 13. Virginia, kind of a fun surprise team this year at 14. Louisville, shout out Miller Moss, got those guys sitting at 15. I mean, shout out to Jeff Brom and Miller Moss with the 15th ranked Louisville Cardinal. Vandy at 16. Still a fun story. I'm rooting for Vandy in the SEC. We'll see what they can do if they can win out and what that looks like. Georgia Tech at 17, I think, is okay after a tough loss. Miami, we talked a ton about at 18. SC sitting there at 19. Iowa. This is, I think, the really good admission from the AP's omission. Iowa unranked in the AP poll. They come in at 20 in the CFP poll. I think that is fair. They were the only team that has even been competitive. Well, the most competitive with Indiana. Oregon lost by 10. I would say that was a competitive game. Iowa lost by 5. So, which is more, I think, proof Indiana, hats off to them. Both of those were road games, and Indiana won both of them. So Iowa gets in the top 20, giving as long as, stuff doesn't fall apart in the next week. That'll be a really highlighted matchup between SC and Iowa here in 2 weeks. Michigan at 21. A lot of debate was, should SC be ahead of Michigan, considering they have the head-to-head and they have the same record? I think the CFP did it right here. Still kept the margins close, but did put USC ahead. Mizzou at 22. Washington finally gets some respect, gets in the top 25 here, sitting at 23. Pitt, as I mentioned, at 24. That'll be the last ranked opponent Notre Dame plays if they're still ranked at that time. And then Tennessee closes it out at 25. So overall, I think these rankings are really fair. I think they did a really good job. I don't agree with Notre Dame at 10 and Texas at 11, but it's minute. I probably would put Notre Dame back at that, 14, 15 spot, which forces them to kind of get some help to get into the playoff. Right now, they're just in, basically win and they're in. And Texas, I would put, I mean, I've said a lot. I don't even know if I'd put Texas in the top 25, but because they're in the SEC, they're 2-loss, I get it. But I put them back in between 21 and 25, if I'm just being honest. That's what I've seen from their level of play so far this year. So outside of that, I think it's all pretty chalk. I think it all looks pretty good. And USC sitting at 19, win out, you're in. Win out, and you are probably almost certainly in. Now, it obviously will depend kind of what happens with the Big Ten championship game. If they win out and are in the game and lose, do they still qualify? Obviously, if they make the championship game and win, then automatic. But if they don't make the Big Ten championship game, remember they don't play Ohio State or Indiana. So right now, the game, if the season ended, would be Ohio State and Indiana, and USC would be out of the Big Ten championship game. But I think they would have done enough and proven enough to still make it at a Big Ten at-large bid. So everything's in front of them, and it starts this Friday against Northwestern. I'll have more coverage on that preview for that game coming up. Madman and Tim should be live tonight. The Call-In Show, 7 p.m. Pacific time. Make sure to bring your calls, bring your energy, bring your questions, comments, all that to the Call-In Show, as we want to just keep driving up engagement on that. So 7 p.m. Pacific time, Wednesday night, USC LAFB. See you guys there. I'll be at practice here in just a couple hours. We're going to talk to Lincoln Riley again. We'll talk to Danton Lynn. Plus, we'll talk to some defensive players. So I will also have a little recap video of kind of, what takeaways from practice this evening. So be on the lookout for that. So if you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button, USC LFB. Make sure to check out LAFBnetwork.com. And let me know your thoughts below in the comments. USC ranked 19th. Fair, foul, like it, love it. All the other rankings, let us know. Appreciate you, family, as always. And as always, fight on. Hey, Trojan family, thank you so much for hanging out and watching the USC LAFB show. Before you go, let me tell you quickly about our friends over at Sleeper. Go right now, download the Sleeper app. It's the #1 sports app, not just for season-long fantasy, but they've got live pickers, they've got live stat updates, they've got a chat that you can chat with other users, plus the daily pick'em. which is a blast, or daily fantasy, whatever you want to call it. You go and pick 2 to 8 players across any sports. If you're talking USC, go choose J.D. Maiava in his next matchup. Pick more or less passing yards, more or less touchdowns. You stack those, and you can win real money. When you go to make your first deposit, make sure you use our promo code USC LAFB. You're going to get a match deposit up to $100. Put in $100, you get $100 free to play with from Sleeper. Put in $10, they'll match you that $10. So now you're sitting at $20 to play with. But also right now, for any new users, no deposit required. You get $20 free entry. You can stack both. You can get the $20 for free. Go make a deposit. Use USC LAFB. And now you've got a bunch of free money to play with right there on the Sleeper app. Check it out, Trojan family. And when you do, tell them the guys at the USC LAFB sent you.